Hey, warriors. Your pen touches the paper, and suddenly everything you've been carrying becomes lighter. That's the power hiding inside a simple journal. Not the fancy kind with gold edges. Not the ones that cost $50. Just you, a page, and the courage to be honest with yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself every single night. He didn't write for glory. He didn't write for history. He wrote because his soul needed it. His private journals, which we now call meditations, weren't meant for anyone's eyes but his own. Yet they became one of the most transformative texts in human history. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Think about that for a moment. The Emperor of Rome, with all the wealth and power in the world, found his peace not in palaces or victories, but in the quiet act of examining his own mind. In 2026, we're drowning in noise. Our phones scream for attention. Our minds race with worry about tomorrow, regret about yesterday, and anxiety about everything in between. We've forgotten how to be still with ourselves. We've forgotten that wisdom isn't found in the latest app or the newest trend. It's found in the ancient practice of turning inward. The Stoics understood something we're only now rediscovering. They knew that writing isn't just about recording events. It's about transforming them. It's about taking the chaos in your head and bringing order to it. It's about finding meaning in the struggle. When Seneca faced exile, he didn't crumble. He wrote. When Epictetus lived as a slave, he didn't give up. He reflected. These philosophers didn't have easy lives. They faced loss, pain, and hardship just like we do. But they had a tool that turned suffering into wisdom. That tool was their journal. You don't need to be perfect to start. You don't need to write like a poet or think like a philosopher. You just need to begin, because here's the truth that nobody tells you. The act of writing changes you. Not someday, not eventually, right now. Your struggles matter. Your thoughts matter. Your journey matters. And when you put them on paper, something magical happens. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the author of your response to them. The 5 journaling habits I'm about to share with you aren't theory. They're not some academic exercise from dusty philosophy books. They're practical tools that the Stoics use daily to build unshakable minds. Tools that help them navigate betrayal, loss, poverty, and power without losing themselves. These habits will help you find clarity when everything feels confusing. They'll give you strength when you feel weak. They'll remind you of who you are when the world tries to tell you who you should be. Type this out if tonight's the night you finally start. I write, I heal, I grow. Before we dive deep into these life-changing habits, hit that like button. It helps this message reach someone who desperately needs it today. Share this video with one person who's struggling to find peace in their mind. Subscribe to this channel because we're building a community of people who choose wisdom over worry. And please don't skip any part of this video. The Stoics believed that philosophy isn't something you study, it's something you practice. Journaling is that practice. It's where philosophy meets your real life, your real problems, your real pain, and your real potential. Are you ready? Because what you're about to learn won't just change how you journal, it'll change how you live. Number 1. The evening reflection. Reviewing your day like a witness, not a judge. The day ends and most people collapse into distraction, scrolling, watching, anything to avoid the silence. But the Stoics did something different. They sat with their day like a friend, sitting with a friend. Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius, "I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by." This wasn't about beating himself up. It wasn't about listing failures like weapons against his own heart. It was about honest observation, like watching a movie of your life and taking notes. not as a critic, but as someone who genuinely wants to understand. Here's what makes this habit so powerful in 2026. We live in a world that never stops. One moment crashes into the next. We move so fast that we never actually process what happened. That argument with your partner, you pushed it down. That moment of joy when your child laughed, you barely noticed it. That fear that crept up during the meeting, you ignored it and kept moving. But unprocessed moments don't disappear. They pile up inside you. They become the weight you carry without knowing why you're tired. The evening reflection changes this. Every night, before sleep pulls you under, you take 10 minutes. Just 10. You open your journal and you ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I do well today? Not perfectly, not flawlessly, just well. Maybe you were patient when patience was hard. Maybe you chose honesty when lying was easier. Maybe you showed up even though you wanted to quit. Write it down. Let yourself see your own strength. Where did I fall short? This is where most people go wrong. They turn this into a massacre. They rip themselves apart with shame and judgment. But that's not what Seneca did. He observed. He said, "Here's where I stumbled. Here's where fear won. Here's where I forgot who I wanted to be." No hatred, just truth. What can I learn from this? This is the question that transforms everything. Because once you spot the pattern, once you see where you keep tripping over the same stone, you can finally move it. You stop repeating the same painful cycles. You start growing. Marcus Aurelius would review his reactions to difficult people. He'd write about losing his temper, about feeling frustrated, about wanting to lash out. But then he'd write about understanding, about remembering that people do the best they can with what they know, about choosing compassion over anger. He wasn't perfect, but he was committed to being better. That's what this habit gives you. Not perfection, progress, not shame, awareness, not judgment, growth. Think about how different your life would be if you actually learned from your days instead of just surviving them. If you celebrated your small victories instead of only seeing your failures. If you approached your mistakes with curiosity instead of cruelty. The evening reflection turns your life into your greatest teacher. Every single day becomes a lesson. Every interaction becomes data. Every emotion becomes information. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is meaningless. It all serves your growth. And here's the beautiful secret. When you review your day without judgment, something shifts inside you. You start treating yourself like someone worth understanding. You start seeing yourself with the same kindness you'd show a good friend. That voice in your head that's been so harsh, it softens. You begin to notice patterns. Maybe you realize you're always tired on days when you skip breakfast. Maybe you see that you're happiest when you help someone else. Maybe you discover that your anxiety spikes when you spend too much time on social media. These insights don't come from research or experts. They come from you, studying you. This is self-knowledge, real self-knowledge, not the Instagram version where everything's curated and perfect. The raw, honest, transformative kind that actually changes your life. Seneca said he would call his soul to account every single night, not to punish it, to understand it, to guide it, to help it become what it was meant to be. Your journal becomes a mirror, but not the kind that shows you your flaws to make you feel small, the kind that shows you your truth, so you can finally become free. 10 minutes, every evening, before you close your eyes on today and wake up to tomorrow. 10 minutes to honor your journey, to learn from your path, to become the person you're meant to be, one honest observation at a time. The Stoics knew that an unexamined life isn't worth living, but an examined life, that's where wisdom lives. That's where peace grows. That's where you finally come home to yourself. Comment this if you're done wasting your lessons. I learn from every day. Number 2. The obstacle log. Turning problems into your personal philosophy. Pain teaches better than pleasure ever could. The Stoics didn't run from difficulty. They studied it. They knew that every obstacle carried a lesson, and if you missed the lesson, you'd face the same obstacle again and again, until you finally paid attention. Epictetus said something that still echoes through time. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He didn't say this from a place of privilege. He said it from a place of deep suffering. And that's what makes it true. Most of us treat problems like enemies. We want them gone. We want them solved. We want to never think about them again. But what if problems aren't the enemy? What if they're the curriculum? The obstacle log is simple, but it's not easy. Every time something challenges you, frustrates you, or stops you in your tracks, you write it down. Not to complain, not to vent, to understand, to extract the gold from the difficulty. Here's how it works. You create 3 columns in your journal. Column 1, the obstacle. What actually happened? Not your interpretation, not your story about it, just the facts. Your boss criticized your work. Your friend cancelled plans. You didn't get the job. You felt anxious before the presentation. Write it clean and clear. Column 2, your initial reaction. This is where you get honest about the storm inside you. How did you feel? What did you want to do? Maybe you wanted to quit. Maybe you wanted to scream. Maybe you wanted to hide under the covers and never come out. Write it all. This isn't the place for who you wish you were. This is the place for who you actually are in that moment. Column 3, the Stoic response. This is where transformation happens. You ask yourself, what would wisdom do here? Not what would feel good. Not what would be easy. What would move me forward? What would make me stronger? What can I control in this situation? Marcus Aurelius used this exact framework when leading Rome through wars, plagues, and betrayals. He'd write about his frustrations with lazy senators, incompetent generals, and endless problems. But then he'd shift. He'd write about what he could control, his own effort, his own integrity, his own response. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This wasn't just a clever phrase. This was his lived experience. Every obstacle he faced became the material for building his character. In 2026, we face different battles. Not wars with swords, but wars with anxiety. Not plagues of the body, but plagues of the mind. Not betrayals from enemies, but betrayals from our own negative thoughts. The obstacles look different, but the principle remains the same. That job rejection, it's teaching you resilience. That difficult conversation, it's teaching you courage. That failure, it's teaching you humility and perseverance, but only if you stop long enough to learn the lesson. Here's what most people miss. They journal about their problems, but they stay stuck in the problem. They write pages and pages about how unfair life is, how hard things are, how much they're suffering. And yes, that can feel good temporarily, but it doesn't change anything. The obstacle log is different because it forces you to move through the pain toward wisdom. It doesn't deny your feelings. It honors them in column 2. But then it asks you to rise, to find the response that makes you proud, to discover the strength you didn't know you had. Think about your biggest obstacle right now, the thing that keeps you up at night. The problem that feels impossible. What if that obstacle isn't blocking your path? What if it is your path? Every great person you admire faced obstacles that would have destroyed most people. They didn't succeed despite their obstacles. They succeeded because of what those obstacles taught them. The obstacle was the teacher. The struggle was the school. Your obstacle log becomes a record of your growth. 6 months from now, you'll look back at problems that felt overwhelming, and you'll see how far you've come. You'll see patterns in how you react. You'll notice yourself getting stronger, wiser, calmer. You'll have proof that you can handle hard things. Epictetus also said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." Your obstacles aren't revealing your weakness. They're revealing your potential. They're showing you what you're capable of becoming. Every problem is a question, and your obstacle log is where you work out the answer. Not the easy answer, not the comfortable answer, the true answer, the one that changes you. The Stoics became unshakable not because they avoided difficulty, but because they used difficulty as their training ground. Your obstacles are your opportunity to do the same. Number 3. The gratitude inventory. Finding wealth in what you already hold. You're richer than you think you are. Not in your bank account, not in material things, in moments, in people, in the ordinary magic you walk past every single day without noticing. Seneca spent time deliberately imagining loss. He'd close his eyes and picture losing everything he loved, his home, his friends, his health, his life. This sounds dark, but it wasn't. It was the opposite. He called it negative visualization, and it taught him something profound. Everything you have is borrowed. Everything is temporary, and that makes it precious beyond measure. He wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." But we can't enjoy the present when we're blind to it, when we take it for granted, when we're always chasing the next thing, convinced that happiness lives somewhere else. The gratitude inventory isn't about toxic positivity. It's not about pretending everything is perfect when it's not. It's about training your mind to see the good that's actually there, hidden beneath your worry and wanting. Here's the practice. Every morning, before the day pulls you into its chaos, you write down 3 specific things you're grateful for. But here's the key. You can't be vague. You can't write "my family" or "my health" and call it done. That's lazy gratitude. That's autopilot gratitude. That doesn't change anything. You have to get specific. You have to feel it. Not "I'm grateful for my partner." Instead, "I'm grateful for the way my partner laughed at my terrible joke this morning, even though it wasn't funny, because they wanted me to feel good." Do you feel the difference? One is a concept. The other is a moment. One is abstract. The other is alive. Not "I'm grateful for my home." Instead, "I'm grateful for the warmth of my bed on a cold morning, for the privilege of having a safe place to rest my head when so many don't." Now you're not just listing, you're remembering, you're feeling, you're present. Marcus Aurelius practiced this religiously. Even as emperor, surrounded by luxury most people couldn't imagine, he'd write about simple things: the kindness of a friend, the beauty of dawn, the gift of another breath. He understood that gratitude isn't about having everything, it's about honoring anything. In 2026, we're trained to focus on lack. The algorithm shows you what you don't have. The ads tell you what you need to buy to be complete. Your social media feed is a highlight reel of everyone else's perfection, making your real life feel small. We're constantly measuring ourselves against an impossible standard, and we're always coming up short. The gratitude inventory breaks that cycle. It retrains your brain to hunt for good instead of hunting for problems. And here's the science behind the ancient wisdom. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system. It's a filter that decides what you notice. If you program it to look for problems, you'll find problems everywhere. If you program it to look for blessings, you'll find blessings everywhere. Both are true. Both exist simultaneously. The question is, which one are you training yourself to see? But here's where this practice gets really powerful. After you write your 3 specific gratitudes, you add one more question. What would my life be like without this? Imagine your morning without that coffee that warms your hands. Imagine your day without the ability to walk, to see, to hear. Imagine your life without that friend who always answers when you call. Imagine your world without the simple gift of running water, electricity, or freedom. Suddenly, what seemed ordinary becomes extraordinary. What seemed small becomes significant. What you took for granted becomes a treasure. Epictetus, who owned almost nothing, who lived most of his life without freedom, said something that puts our complaints in perspective. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. You don't need more to be happy. You need awareness of what you already have. The gratitude inventory doesn't erase your problems. It doesn't make hard things easy, but it gives you ballast. It gives you balance. When life feels heavy, when everything seems dark, you have this practice, this anchor, this reminder that even in struggle, there is still good. Even in pain, there is still beauty. Even in loss, there is still love. Your journal becomes a testament to your life's richness. On hard days, you can flip back through pages and pages of proof that your life contains blessing, that you are surrounded by grace, that you have reasons to keep going. 3 things, every morning, specific and felt. That's all it takes to slowly, gently, powerfully shift your entire relationship with your life, from scarcity to abundance, from complaint to celebration, from taking to treasuring. The Stoics knew that wealth isn't what you own, it's what you appreciate, and appreciation is a choice you make every single day. Number 4, the fear interrogation. Meeting your anxiety with questions, not surrender. Fear lies to you every single day. It tells you that you're not ready, that you'll fail, that people will judge you, that the worst will definitely happen, and most of us believe these lies without question. We let fear sit in the driver's seat of our lives, taking us further and further from who we want to be. The Stoics had a different relationship with fear. They didn't try to eliminate it. They didn't pretend to be fearless. They interrogated it. They questioned it. They looked it straight in the eye and asked, "Is this true, or is this just a story?" Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Read that again. Most of your suffering isn't happening in your actual life. It's happening in your mind, in the terrible futures you create, in the catastrophes you rehearse over and over. You're torturing yourself with things that haven't happened and might never happen. The fear interrogation is where you take back your power. It's where you stop being a victim of your anxious thoughts and become an investigator of them. Here's how it works. When fear shows up, when anxiety grips your chest, when worry keeps you awake, you don't push it away. You don't fight it. You write it down. You pull it out of the shadows and into the light of the page. You write, "I am afraid that," and you finish the sentence. Be brutally honest. I am afraid that I'll lose my job. I am afraid that I'm not good enough. I am afraid that people will see the real me and reject me. I am afraid that I'll fail and everyone will know. Just writing it down takes away some of its power. Fear thrives in darkness. It grows bigger and scarier when it's unnamed. But when you name it, when you see it in ink on paper, it becomes smaller, more manageable, more real. Then comes the interrogation. You ask your fear 4 questions. Question 1. Is this fear based on facts or feelings? Most of our fears are feelings masquerading as facts. Everyone will laugh at me feels true, but is it factual? Has everyone you've ever met actually laughed at you? Or is this an exaggeration your anxious mind created? Facts can be examined. Feelings, while valid, aren't always accurate. Question 2. What's the actual worst that could happen? Not the catastrophic fantasy version, the real version. Yes, you might fail. Yes, it might be uncomfortable. Yes, someone might criticize you. But will you die? Will you lose everything? Or will you survive, learn, and move forward? Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that even the worst outcomes were survivable, that he was stronger than he believed. Question 3. If the worst happens, how would I handle it? This is where you take your power back. You make a plan. If I lose my job, I will update my resume, reach out to my network, and apply to new positions. I have savings for 3 months. I have skills. I have survived hard things before. Suddenly the fear has less grip because you have a response ready. Question 4. What am I missing out on by letting this fear control me? This is the question that changes everything, because fear has a cost. Every time you say no to an opportunity because you're scared, you're saying no to growth. Every time you stay silent because you're afraid of judgment, you're silencing your truth. Every time you play small because you're worried about failure, you're guaranteeing that you'll never discover what you're capable of. Epictetus taught his students something revolutionary. He said, "It is not death or pain that is to be dreaded, but the fear of death or pain." The fear is often worse than the thing itself. The anticipation is more painful than the reality. Think about the times you've been absolutely terrified of something: a presentation, a difficult conversation, a big decision, and then you did it anyway, and afterward you realized it wasn't as bad as your mind made it seem. Your fear was a liar, but you only discovered that by moving through it. The fear interrogation doesn't make you fearless. It makes you wise. It teaches you to distinguish between real danger and imagined danger, between legitimate caution and limiting beliefs, between protection and prison. Your journal becomes the courtroom where fear has to defend itself. And most of the time, when you really examine it, fear has no case. It's just noise. It's just old programming. It's just the part of you that wants to keep you safe by keeping you small. But you weren't born to be small. You were born to grow, to risk, to try, to fail and rise and try again. The Stoics knew that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's action in the presence of fear. It's moving forward even when your hands shake. Every time you interrogate your fear instead of obeying it, you become braver. Not because the fear disappears, but because you stop letting it decide for you. Write this if you're ready to stop running. I am braver than my fears. Number 5. The Identity Architect. Writing who you're becoming, not just who you've been. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not the person you were yesterday. You are the person you're choosing to become right now, in this moment, with this breath, with this decision. Marcus Aurelius understood something that modern psychology is only now confirming. Identity is not fixed. It's not carved in stone. It's written in pencil, and you're holding the eraser and the pen. He wrote in his meditations, "Such as are your habitual thoughts, such also will be the character of your mind. For the soul is dyed by the thoughts." Your thoughts shape you. Your beliefs create you. The story you tell yourself about yourself becomes your reality. And most people are walking around with a story they didn't even write. A story written by their childhood wounds, their past failures, their critics, their fears. The Identity Architect practice is where you become the author of your own story, where you intentionally design who you're becoming instead of accidentally repeating who you've been. Here's how it works. Once a week you sit with your journal and you write about your future self, not in some distant, vague someday, but the version of you that's emerging right now, the version you're building with each small choice. You write in present tense, as if it's already true. I am someone who keeps my word to myself. I am someone who faces difficulty with calm. I am someone who speaks truth even when it's uncomfortable. I am someone who treats my body with respect. I am someone who shows up for the people I love. This isn't fake positivity. This isn't lying to yourself. This is declaring your intention. This is planting seeds in the soil of your subconscious mind. The Stoics called this prosos, which means attention or focus. You're focusing your mind on who you're becoming so powerfully that your actions start to align. But here's the crucial part. After you write your identity statements, you write the evidence. You ask yourself, how did I prove this week that I'm becoming this person? And you list specific moments, small moments, real moments. Maybe you said you're someone who's disciplined, and this week you woke up early 3 times even though you wanted to sleep in. That's evidence. Maybe you said you're someone who's kind, and this week you checked on a friend who was struggling. That's evidence. Maybe you said you're someone who's brave, and this week you had that hard conversation you'd been avoiding. That's evidence. These small proofs accumulate. They build a case in your own mind that you are who you say you are. And slowly, the gap between who you are and who you want to be starts to close. Epictetus taught that we become what we practice. He said, if you want to be a writer, write. If you want to be virtuous, practice virtue. You don't wait until you feel like the person you want to be. You act like that person, and the feelings follow. The identity forms around the action. In 2026, we're obsessed with finding ourselves. But the Stoics knew something different. You don't find yourself. You create yourself. Every choice is a brushstroke. Every action is a word in the story. Every moment is an opportunity to author the next chapter. Think about the labels you've accepted. I'm just an anxious person. I'm not good with money. I'm terrible at relationships. I'm not creative. These aren't truths. These are stories. And stories can be rewritten. The identity architect practice gives you permission to let go of old identities that no longer serve you, to shed the skin of who you were forced to be and step into who you're choosing to become. It's liberation, it's transformation, it's rebirth, written one journal entry at a time. You also write about the person you're leaving behind. I am no longer someone who shrinks to make others comfortable. I am no longer someone who sacrifices my peace for others' approval. I am no longer someone who lives in the past. This is just as powerful as declaring who you're becoming. You're closing doors that need to be closed. Marcus Aurelius was born into power, but he wasn't born wise. He became wise through daily practice, through writing, through choosing again and again to be the person he respected. He wrote to remind himself, to guide himself, to build himself. Your journal is your construction site. Every entry is a brick. Every word is a choice. Every page is a declaration. You're not just recording your life, you're designing it. The most powerful thing you can do is decide who you want to be, and then show up as that person before you feel ready, before you feel worthy, before you feel confident. You act, and the identity follows. You are the architect. Your life is the blueprint. Your choices are the foundation. Build something beautiful. Build something true. Build someone you're proud to be. Share this if you're taking your power back today. I choose who I become. You've made it to the end, and that means something. It means you're serious about change. It means you're ready to do the work that most people avoid. It means you understand that wisdom isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build, one honest word at a time. These 5 journaling habits aren't magic. They won't fix everything overnight, but they will do something more valuable. They'll give you a practice, a refuge, a way to meet yourself with honesty and compassion every single day. The evening reflection teaches you to learn from your days. The obstacle log transforms your problems into wisdom. The gratitude inventory opens your eyes to the wealth you already hold. The fear interrogation frees you from the lies anxiety tells. And the identity architect empowers you to become who you're meant to be. Marcus Aurelius left us with one final reminder. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for permission. Your journal is waiting. Your transformation is waiting. Your life is waiting. 10 minutes a day, that's all it takes. 10 minutes to check in with yourself, to honor your journey, to build the mind and life you truly want. The Stoics didn't journal because their lives were easy. They journaled because their lives were hard, and they refused to waste their struggles. They turned pain into philosophy, obstacles into opportunities, fear into freedom. You can do the same, starting today, starting right now. If this video spoke to something in you, hit that like button, drop a comment below, and tell me which habit you're starting with. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to this channel so we can continue this journey together. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. Now go, pick up your pen, and begin. Make it real by typing this below right now. I write my way to wisdom. Hey warriors, you are running out of time. Not because life is short, but because you keep giving your days to habits that steal your future. And the worst part? You defend them, you protect them, you act like they are harmless when they are slowly erasing everything you could become. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But you have not realized it yet. You keep waiting for the world to change, while the real problem lives inside you. In the patterns you repeat without thinking, in the comfort you choose without questioning. There are 5 habits that will destroy you in 2026 if you keep them. They will not announce themselves. They will not give warnings. They will just keep taking your time, your energy, your potential, until one day you wake up and realize another year has passed and nothing has changed." Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And these 5 habits are exactly how you waste it. They feel normal, they feel safe, but they are costing you everything you say you want. So stay through every part of this video. Do not skip anything, because each habit will show you where you are losing and how to stop the bleeding. This is not comfort. This is truth, the kind that hurts but heals. Hit that like button right now. Share this message. Subscribe to this channel, because growth is not private. And when you commit publicly, you make it real. Declare war on your old self. Comment this now. I will not waste 2026. Say it, mean it, declare it, because your words create your reality. The first habit, delay. You tell yourself you will start tomorrow, next week, next month, when things settle down, when you feel ready, when the timing is perfect. But here is what you are really saying. Not now, maybe never, just not today. Delay is the most accepted form of self-destruction. Nobody calls you out for it. Nobody sees it as failure, because you are not doing anything wrong. You are just waiting, planning, thinking it through. But while you wait, life does not pause. Opportunities close, time moves, and the person you could have become gets further away. Epictetus said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" That question should haunt you, because every time you delay, you are choosing to settle. You are saying that comfort today matters more than progress tomorrow. And that choice compounds. One delay turns into 10. 10 turns into a year. A year turns into a life you never intended to live. Let me be clear. Delay is not about being slow. It is about being stuck. It is the voice that says, "I am not ready yet." But ready is a lie. Nobody feels ready. The person who starts a business does not feel ready. The person who asks for the promotion does not feel ready. The person who ends a bad relationship and walks into the unknown does not feel ready. They just move anyway. Because they understand something you need to learn. Action creates clarity. Waiting creates doubt. Think about the goal you have been putting off. Maybe it is starting that project, learning that skill, having that difficult conversation, fixing your health. Whatever it is, you know what it is, and you have been telling yourself the same story. I will do it when I have more time, when I have more money, when I am more prepared. But time does not give itself to you. You take it. Money does not appear because you waited. It comes because you moved. Preparation does not happen in your head. It happens in the doing. Delay feels safe. That is why it is so dangerous. It lets you keep the dream without the risk. You get to imagine success without facing failure. You get to stay comfortable without admitting you are afraid. But that comfort costs you everything. Because while you are waiting for the perfect moment, someone else is building, learning, failing, growing. And when you finally decide to start, they are already 10 steps ahead. Here is the truth about timing. It is never perfect. There will always be a reason to wait, always something in the way, always a better time just around the corner. But that better time is a trap. It keeps you frozen. And the longer you stay frozen, the harder it becomes to move. Seneca wrote, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." Not tomorrow, not next week, now, today, this moment, because this is all you have. The future you are waiting for does not exist. It is just another version of now. And if you cannot act now, you will not act then either. So, what do? You pick one thing, not 10. One. The smallest step toward the thing you have been avoiding, and you do it today. Not perfectly, not confidently, just done. Because action breaks the spell of delay. It proves to yourself that you can move. And once you move, momentum builds. One step becomes 2. 2 becomes 10. And suddenly, the thing you were avoiding for months is behind you. But you have to start. You have to stop negotiating with yourself. Stop waiting for permission. Stop searching for the perfect plan. Just begin. Messy, imperfect, afraid. It does not matter. What matters is that you move. The cost of delay is not just time, it is belief. Every time you put something off, you teach yourself that you are not someone who follows through. You are not someone who keeps promises to yourself. You are not someone who can be trusted. And that story becomes your identity. Until one day, you do not even try anymore. Because deep down, you do not believe you will finish anyway, but it does not have to be that way. You can rewrite that story today, right now. By doing the one thing you said you would do later, do it now. Not because you feel like it, not because you are ready, but because you refuse to let delay steal another year from you. Marcus Aurelius warned, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." That is not about fear. It is about urgency, about recognizing that every delay is a bet that tomorrow is promised. And it is not. So, stop betting against yourself. Stop waiting for some magical moment. Stop letting fear dress itself up as patience. Start now. Move now. Fail now if you have to. But do not delay. Not anymore. because 2026 will not wait for you to feel ready. It is already moving, and you need to move with it. If you're done waiting, make this commitment now. I start today, not tomorrow. The second habit, constant distraction. Your attention is being stolen every single day, every single hour, and you are letting it happen. You reach for your phone without thinking. You scroll without purpose. You click, you swipe, you consume. And while you are busy being distracted, your life is passing by. Constant distraction is not just about wasted time. It is about a scattered mind, a mind that cannot focus, cannot think deeply, cannot create anything meaningful, because you have trained yourself to need stimulation every few seconds, to crave the next notification, the next video, the next piece of content that means nothing and changes nothing. The Stoics had a principle: focus only on what you can control, ignore the rest. But today, we do the opposite. We give our attention to everything except what matters. We watch strangers argue online. We follow news we cannot change. We consume content that makes us feel something for 5 seconds and leaves us empty for hours. And we call this living. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman on doing what is in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness." But you cannot concentrate, not anymore, because your mind has been rewired. You have taught it that focus is boring, that stillness is uncomfortable, that doing one thing at a time is not enough. Let me tell you what distraction really is. It is avoidance. You are avoiding the hard work, the important conversation, the project that scares you, the silence that forces you to face yourself. So, you fill every moment with noise, with content, with anything that keeps you from sitting with what is real. And the worst part, you do not even enjoy it. You scroll and feel nothing. You watch and forget what you watched. You consume and stay hungry, because distraction does not feed you. It numbs you. It keeps you busy enough to feel productive, but empty enough to stay lost. Think about your day. How many hours did you give to things that do not matter? How many times did you pick up your phone for no reason? How many moments did you miss because you were looking at a screen instead of living your life? The answer is too many, and you know it. Epictetus said, "If you do not wish to be prone to anger, do not feed the habit. Give it nothing which may tend to its increase." The same applies to distraction. If you do not want a distracted life, stop feeding the habit. Stop giving it your time, your energy, your attention. But here is what makes this habit so dangerous. It feels harmless. Scrolling for 10 minutes does not seem like a big deal. Checking your phone during a conversation does not seem like betrayal. Watching videos instead of working does not feel like failure. But it all adds up. 10 minutes becomes an hour becomes a day becomes a year. And suddenly you look back and realize you cannot remember where the time went, because you were never fully present for any of it. Your attention is your most valuable resource, not your money, not your time, your attention. Because where your attention goes, your life follows. If you give it to distractions, you will live a distracted life. If you give it to what matters, you will build something meaningful. So, what do? You take it back. You guard it like your life depends on it. Because it does. You stop treating your phone like an extension of your hand. You stop checking it every few minutes like you are waiting for something important. Because nothing important comes from constant checking. Only more distraction, more noise, more emptiness. You create boundaries. You decide when you will engage and when you will not. You turn off notifications. You delete apps that steal your time. You build space into your day where nothing is competing for your attention. Just you, your thoughts, your work, your growth. Seneca warned, It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And distraction is the biggest waste of all, because it gives you the illusion of doing something while you are actually doing nothing. You feel busy, you feel connected, but you are neither. You are just lost in a loop that leads nowhere. The people who win in life are not the smartest. They are not the most talented. They are the ones who can focus, who can sit with one task and see it through, who can ignore the noise and stay on their path. Because focus is rare now, and what is rare is valuable. But focus is a skill, and like any skill, it must be practiced. You do not wake up one day and suddenly have the ability to concentrate for hours. You build it, you train it, you protect it, and you start by removing the distractions you have been defending. Stop telling yourself you need to stay informed. You do not. Most of what you consume is not information. It is entertainment disguised as importance. Stop telling yourself you are just taking a quick break. You are not. You are running away from the work. Stop telling yourself everyone else does it. They do. And they are just as lost as you are. You are better than this. You know you are. Deep down, you know that your life is meant for more than scrolling through other people's lives. More than reacting to things that do not concern you. More than filling every quiet moment with noise. So, reclaim your attention. Decide what deserves it. And let everything else fade into the background. Because a focused mind is a powerful mind, and a powerful mind builds a powerful life. The third habit, seeking comfort over growth. You choose the easy path. Every single time. You stay in the job that drains you because leaving feels risky. You avoid the workout because the couch feels better. You skip the hard conversation because silence is safer. And every time you choose comfort, you choose to stay small. Growth does not happen in comfort. It never has. It never will. Growth happens in the struggle. In the moment when you want to quit, but keep going anyway. In the choice that scares you but calls to you. Comfort keeps you safe, but it also keeps you stuck. The Stoics believed in voluntary discomfort. They practiced it intentionally, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they understood something most people miss. Discomfort builds strength. It teaches resilience. It shows you that you are capable of more than you think. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare. Then you will begin to say to yourself, 'Is this really the condition I feared?' But you do not practice discomfort. You avoid it. You build your entire life around avoiding it. You want success without struggle, strength without effort, results without sacrifice. And that is why you are still waiting for change that never comes. Let me be honest with you. Comfort is a slow killer. It does not destroy you overnight. It just makes you weaker, softer, less capable, until one day you face a challenge you cannot avoid, and you realize you have no strength left to handle it, because you spent years choosing easy over necessary. Think about the areas of your life where you have stopped growing. Maybe it is your body. You know you need to move, to eat better, to take care of yourself, but you choose the comfort of staying sedentary, the comfort of eating what tastes good instead of what serves you, and your body pays the price, slowly, quietly, until the discomfort you avoided becomes the pain you cannot escape. Maybe it is your career. You know you are capable of more. You know you should be learning, building, taking risks, but you choose the comfort of staying where you are, where things are predictable, where you do not have to prove yourself, and years pass, and you watch others move forward while you stay in place, safe, comfortable, and forgotten. Or maybe it is your relationships. You know some conversations need to happen, boundaries need to be set, truth needs to be spoken, But you choose the comfort of silence, of keeping the peace, of not rocking the boat. And the distance grows, the resentment builds, until one day the relationship you were trying to protect is already broken. And the comfort you chose becomes the loneliness you live with. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." But you do not see obstacles as the way. You see them as reasons to turn back, to find an easier route, to wait for a path that requires nothing from you. And that is why you are still at the beginning. Here is what you need to understand. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you are making a trade. You are trading your future for your present. You are saying that feeling good today matters more than being strong tomorrow. And that trade is costing you everything. Because comfort does not just keep you where you are, it moves you backward. While others are building skills, you are staying the same. While others are facing fears, you are avoiding them. While others are becoming more, you are becoming less. Not because you are not capable, but because you are not willing. And the lie you tell yourself is that you will start when you are ready, when you feel motivated, when it does not feel so hard. But that moment never comes, because growth always feels hard. It always requires something from you. It always asks you to be uncomfortable. And if you keep waiting for it to feel easy, you will wait forever. Epictetus taught, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig." If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. But you want the fruit without the seasons, the harvest without the planting, the strength without the training. And life does not work that way. So, what do? You stop choosing comfort. You start choosing growth. Even when it is hard, especially when it is hard, you do the workout you do not feel like doing. You have the conversation you have been avoiding. You take the risk that scares you, not because you are fearless, but because you refuse to let fear choose your life for you. You make discomfort your practice. You seek it out. You lean into it, because you understand that every uncomfortable moment is building a stronger version of you. Every challenge you face is teaching you something you need to know. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you are investing in yourself. And here is the beautiful truth. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. Not because the tasks get easier, but because you get stronger. Your capacity grows, your confidence builds, and what once felt impossible becomes just another thing you do. But it starts with a choice. Today, right now, to stop running toward comfort and start running toward growth. To stop avoiding the hard things and start embracing them. To stop settling for who you are and start becoming who you are meant to be. Comfort will always be there. It will always be easy to choose, but growth has an expiration date. There is a window, and every day you choose comfort, that window gets smaller, until one day it closes, and you are left with regret, with the knowledge that you could have been more, done more, become more, but you chose safety instead. Do not let that be your story. Choose differently. Choose growth. Choose discomfort, choose strength, because that is where your future lives, not in the easy path, but in the one that demands everything from you and gives you everything in return. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose growth over comfort. The fourth habit, explaining yourself to people who don't matter. You waste so much energy explaining, defending, justifying. You tell people why you made that choice, why you are doing things differently, why you are not following the path they expected. And while you are busy explaining, you are not building, you are not moving, you are stuck in a conversation that will never end, because people who do not understand your vision will never be satisfied with your explanation. Here is the truth. Your life is not up for debate. Your dreams do not need approval. Your path does not require permission from people who are not walking it with you, but you keep giving them power. You keep letting their opinions shape your decisions. You keep thinking that if you just explain it better, they will finally understand. They will not, and they do not need to. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Read that again. You love yourself, but you care more about what others think than what you know to be true. And that is the cage you have been living in. Every time you explain yourself to someone who does not matter, you are asking for validation you do not need. You are seeking approval from people who are not qualified to give it, because they are not living your life. They do not carry your responsibilities. They do not see your vision. They only see their own limited perspective, and you are letting that perspective limit you. Think about how much time you have lost, how many conversations you have had trying to make someone understand why you are choosing this path, why you are leaving that situation, why you are betting on yourself. And at the end of all that talking, did anything change? Did they suddenly support you, or did they just find new reasons to doubt you? The people who matter do not need explanations. They see your actions and trust your judgment. They believe in you even when they do not fully understand. They support you because they know you. And the people who do not matter, no explanation will ever be enough, because they are not looking for understanding. They are looking for reasons to keep you small, to keep you safe, to keep you where they can understand you. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." That is hard to accept, because we want to be seen as smart, as having it all figured out, as making the right choices. But growth requires you to look foolish sometimes, to be misunderstood, to be judged by people who are too afraid to take the same risks. And here is what happens when you keep explaining yourself. You start doubting yourself, because every time you defend your choice, you are also questioning it. You are giving weight to their doubts. You are letting their fear become your fear. And slowly, without realizing it, you start making decisions based on what they will think instead of what you know you need to do. You dim your light to make others comfortable. You shrink your dreams to fit their understanding. You apologize for wanting more, for doing things differently, for refusing to settle. And every apology is a betrayal of yourself. Stop doing that. Stop giving explanations to people who are not invested in your success. Stop defending your vision to people who do not have one. Stop wasting energy trying to make people understand who do not want to understand. Save that energy. Use it to build, to create, to become. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And the judgment you fear, most of it is in your imagination. Most people are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. They are worried about their own lives, their own problems, their own insecurities. And the few who do judge you, they are projecting their own fears onto you, their own regrets, their own limitations. So why are you giving them so much power? Why are you letting their small thinking make you doubt your big dreams? Why are you explaining yourself to people who gave up on their own potential and now want you to give up on yours? Here is what you do instead. You let your results speak. You stop talking about what you're going to do and just do it. You stop seeking approval and start building proof. Because when you succeed, the same people who questioned you will suddenly act like they always believed in you. And when you fail, the same people who encouraged you will say they saw it coming. So their opinion is worthless either way. Your focus should be on the people who matter, the ones who show up, who support, who believe in you even when the path is unclear. Those people do not need explanations. They need updates. They need you to keep going. They need you to prove to yourself what they already see in you. And for everyone else, silence is your answer. Not because you are arrogant, not because you do not care, but because you understand that your time is limited, your energy is precious, and every moment you spend explaining is a moment you are not executing. Marcus Aurelius also said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Stop arguing about your path. Stop defending your choices. Stop explaining your vision. Just walk it, live it, build it, and let the life you create be the only explanation you ever need to give. Because at the end of your life, you will not remember the people who doubted you. You will not care about the opinions that once felt so important. You will only care about one thing. Did you live true to yourself? Did you follow your path? Did you become who you were meant to be? Or did you spend your whole life trying to make others understand a journey they were never meant to take? Choose yourself. Choose your vision. Choose to stop explaining and start becoming. Because the world does not need more people who can defend their dreams. It needs people who can build them. The fifth habit, avoiding responsibility. You blame everything. The economy, your parents, your boss, the system, your past, your circumstances. And every time you point a finger outward, you give away your power. Because blame feels good in the moment. It releases you from guilt. It makes you the victim instead of the failure. But it also makes you powerless. And powerless people do not change their lives. Here is the hard truth. Until you take full responsibility for where you are, you will never get to where you want to be. Because responsibility is not about blame. It is about control. When you blame others, you are saying they control your life. When you take responsibility, you are saying you do. And that shift changes everything. The Stoics built their entire philosophy on this principle. Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." That is responsibility. Not denying what happened to you, not pretending life has been fair, but refusing to let your past dictate your future, refusing to stay stuck because of what someone else did or did not do. But you do not do that. You hold on to your excuses like they are treasure. You build your identity around your struggles. You tell the same story over and over, about how you did not get the opportunities others had, how you were hurt, how you were dealt a bad hand, and every time you tell that story, you strengthen it. You make it more real, more permanent, more impossible to escape. And yes, maybe you were dealt a bad hand. Maybe life has been harder for you than others. Maybe you faced things that were not your fault. I am not here to deny that. But here is what I am here to say. It does not matter. Not if you want to move forward. Because fair or unfair, right or wrong, the only question that matters now is this: what are you going to do about it? You can keep blaming, keep pointing at everyone who failed you, keep listing all the reasons why you are behind. Or you can accept that where you are right now is your starting point, not because you deserve it, not because it is fair, but because it is real. And the moment you accept it, you can start changing it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But you have been doing the opposite. You have been giving power to outside events, letting them define you, control you, limit you. And as long as you do that, you will stay exactly where you are. Think about the areas of your life where you are stuck: your finances, your health, your relationships, your career. Now ask yourself honestly, who are you blaming for that? Your job for not paying enough? Your metabolism for being slow, your partner for not understanding you, your industry for being difficult. And maybe those things are true. Maybe your job does not pay enough. Maybe your body does not respond like others. Maybe your partner is difficult. Maybe your industry is broken. But blaming them does not fix anything. It just keeps you stuck. Because as long as you are focused on what they are doing wrong, you are not focused on what you can do right. Here is what responsibility looks like. It is not saying everything is your fault. It is saying everything is your responsibility. Your health is your responsibility, even if you have bad genetics. Your finances are your responsibility, even if you started with nothing. Your relationships are your responsibility, even if the other person is difficult. Your career is your responsibility, even if the system is unfair. Because when you take responsibility, you take back control. You stop waiting for the world to change. You stop hoping someone will save you. You stop expecting life to get easier. And you start asking better questions. Not, why is this happening to me? But what can I do about this? Not, who is to blame? But what is my next move? Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. But you cannot be strengthened by difficulties if you are busy blaming them, if you are running from them, if you are using them as reasons to quit. You have to face them, own them, and decide that no matter what happened, you will not let it define what happens next. And I know this is hard. I know it feels easier to blame, to point at all the things that are not your fault. But easy is what got you here. Easy is what keeps people stuck for decades. Easy is the reason most people never change, because they spend their whole lives waiting for someone to apologize, someone to make it right, someone to give them what they deserved, and they die waiting. Do not be that person. Do not let your life be defined by what others did or did not do. Do not give them that much power, because they are living their lives, moving forward, while you are stuck replaying the past, stuck waiting for justice that may never come, stuck trading your future for the comfort of being the victim. You are not a victim. You might have been victimized, but you are not a victim, because a victim has no power, no options, no control. And that is not you. You have power. You have options. You have control over what you do next. And the moment you take responsibility for that, everything changes. You stop making excuses and start making progress. You stop explaining why you cannot and start figuring out how you can. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start working with what you have. Because responsibility is freedom. It is the freedom to change, to grow, to become. And nobody can give that to you. You have to claim it. Epictetus also taught, he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Stop grieving over what you did not get, the support, the opportunities, the advantages. Start working with what you have, your mind, your effort, your choice, because those are enough. They have always been enough. You just have to stop blaming and start building. So today, right now, take responsibility for all of it, the good, the bad, the fair, the unfair. Take it all, own it all, and then decide what you are going to do with it. Because your life is not about what happened to you, it is about what you do next, and that is entirely up to you. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I take full responsibility for my life. So here we are. 5 habits, 5 choices, 5 patterns that will either destroy you or be destroyed by you in 2026. The question is not whether you recognize them. You do. The question is whether you will do something about them. Because knowing is not enough. Understanding is not enough. Nodding your head and agreeing is not enough. Change only happens when you act, when you stop defending the habits that are keeping you stuck and start building the ones that will set you free. You can carry these habits into the new year. You can keep delaying, keep distracting yourself, keep choosing comfort, keep explaining yourself, keep blaming others, and life will go on. Days will pass, months will pass, and one day you will look back and realize that another year disappeared, and you are still in the same place, still making the same excuses, still wondering why nothing changed. Or you can choose differently, right now, today. You can decide that 2026 will be the year you stop talking and start doing, the year you stop waiting and start building, the year you take full responsibility and full control, because you have the power. You always have. You just have to use it. Marcus Aurelius left us with this. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. So, stop arguing with yourself. Stop debating whether you can do this. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Be the person you know you are meant to be, starting now. If this message hit you, do not let it fade. Hit that like button. Drop a comment below with your affirmation. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to this channel, because your growth is not a solo journey. And the more you commit publicly, the more real it becomes. This is your year, if you choose it, if you claim it, if you fight for it. The habits will not change themselves, but you can change them. And when you do, everything else changes with you. Now go, build the life you have been talking about, and let 2026 be the year you finally became who you were always meant to be. Hey warriors! The person you see in the mirror every morning isn't the problem. The problem is, you've been lying to them, telling them tomorrow will be different while repeating today's patterns, promising change while choosing comfort, saying you want more while settling for less. The gap between your words and your actions has grown so wide you've learned to live in it, numb to the contradiction. But numbness isn't peace, it's slow death. Reinvention doesn't begin with motivation. It begins with the brutal honesty to admit you've been sabotaging yourself. That the enemy isn't circumstances, timing, or luck. It's the version of you that refuses to evolve. And 2026, it's not going to save you. You have to save yourself. The Stoics didn't write their philosophy during moments of triumph. They wrote it during collapse. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Not someday. Not when conditions improve. Now. In the mess. In the struggle. In the gap between who you are and who you must become. That's where you are right now. In the gap. And you can either keep making excuses for why you're stuck there, or you can do something most people never have the courage to do. Stop lying and start building." These 7 Stoic lessons aren't gentle. They won't coddle you. They won't tell you everything happens for a reason, or that you just need to believe in yourself. They'll tell you the truth. You've been wasting your power on things that don't matter while neglecting the only thing that does, your ability to command yourself. This year isn't about adding more to your life. It's about removing everything that's been draining it. The false beliefs, the victim mentality, the scattered focus, the emotional reactivity, the comfortable lies. Strip it all away, and what remains is raw potential, waiting for you to shape it into something unbreakable. But you have to mean it this time. No half measures, no dabbling, no consuming this content and then forgetting it by tomorrow. Right now, pause and decide. Are you actually ready to change, or are you just entertaining yourself with the idea of it? If you're ready, like this video. Share this with someone who's tired of their own excuses. Subscribe because this channel exists for people who choose transformation over comfort. And don't skip a single section. Declare war on your old self. Comment this now. No more excuses. Number 1. Stop waiting for readiness. Act from incompleteness. You've been waiting to feel ready. Ready to start. Ready to speak up. Ready to take the leap. Ready to become the person you know you should be. And while you wait for that magical moment of readiness, years disappear. Readiness is a myth. It's a story your fear tells to keep you paralyzed. It's the comfortable lie that lets you postpone action indefinitely while feeling like you're being responsible. Seneca cut through this delusion. Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life. You don't get to practice in the waiting room. Life doesn't give you a rehearsal before the real performance. Every day you wait for readiness is a day you're not living. You're just occupying space, consuming oxygen, moving toward death without ever truly showing up. The people who transform their lives don't wait until they're qualified. They don't wait until they've figured everything out. They don't wait until the path is clear and the outcome is guaranteed. They act from a state of incompleteness, uncertainty, and inadequacy, and they let the action itself teach them what they need to know. Think about every dream you've postponed because you weren't ready yet. The business you didn't start because you needed more knowledge. The conversation you didn't have because you hadn't found the perfect words. The relationship you didn't pursue because you weren't healed enough yet. The art you didn't create because your skills weren't refined enough. All of it postponed indefinitely. Not because you actually needed more preparation, but because preparation gave you a socially acceptable reason to avoid the terror of trying and possibly failing. But here's what happens while you wait. The world moves on without you. Opportunities close, time evaporates, and the person you could have become remains locked inside, unexpressed, unrealized, slowly suffocating under the weight of not yet. Consider the mental paralysis that comes from perfectionism. The belief that you can't begin until conditions are ideal, until you know enough, until you're certain of success. That's not high standards. That's fear wearing a respectable mask. It's self-sabotage disguised as conscientiousness. The Stoics understood that wisdom comes through action, not before it. You don't think your way into a new life, you act your way into new thinking. Every step forward, even a clumsy one, teaches you something that sitting still never could. When you act from incompleteness, you're not being reckless, you're being honest. You're acknowledging that you'll never have all the answers, that uncertainty is permanent, that growth happens in motion, not in preparation. This requires a fundamental shift in how you relate to failure. Most people avoid action because they're terrified of failing. But failure isn't the opposite of success. Inaction is. Failure means you tried. Inaction means you surrendered without even entering the arena. Every version of yourself that you admire, the confident one, the capable one, the one who doesn't hesitate, exists on the other side of action you haven't taken yet. You don't become that person by thinking about it. You become that person by acting like them before you feel like them. Identify one thing you've been postponing until you're ready. Then ask yourself honestly, will I ever feel ready? Or is readiness just an excuse? Then do it today. Badly if necessary, imperfectly, scared, but do it. Because competence doesn't precede action, it follows it. You don't learn to swim by reading about swimming. You don't learn courage by thinking about bravery. You learn by getting in the water, by acting despite fear, by moving before you're ready. The modern world has created endless ways to feel productive while avoiding actual production. You can research forever, plan indefinitely, prepare endlessly, and never actually do the thing. But all that preparation is just procrastination with better marketing. Stop preparing for the life you want to live and start living it now, with whatever you have, wherever you are, as incomplete and unqualified as you feel. Because you are incomplete, you always will be. Completeness is another myth. Growth is permanent incompleteness in motion. The waiting ends when you decide it ends, not when you're ready. When you decide that living as an incomplete, imperfect, scared human being is better than dying as someone who never tried. If you're done waiting, make this commitment now. I act now. Number 2, become comfortable being misunderstood. You've been contorting yourself to be understood, explaining your choices, justifying your path, defending your decisions to people who will never see what you see. And in that endless performance of making yourself comprehensible, you've abandoned the truth of who you actually are. Most of your anxiety comes from this, the exhausting effort to be understood by everyone, to make your life make sense to people who aren't living it, to gain approval from audiences who don't matter. Epictetus saw this trap clearly. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Read that again. Your growth will confuse people. Your transformation will threaten them. Your evolution will make them uncomfortable because it forces them to confront their own stagnation. And if you need their understanding to move forward, you'll never move at all. The people who judge your choices aren't living your life. They're not carrying your burden. They're not fighting your battles. They're spectators offering commentary on a game they've never played. And you've been letting their opinions shape your decisions. Think about the dreams you've abandoned because they didn't make sense to others. The paths you didn't take because you couldn't explain them rationally. The versions of yourself you've suppressed because they didn't fit other people's expectations. All of it sacrificed on the altar of being understood. All of it traded for the comfort of approval. And where has that gotten you? Still stuck, still unfulfilled, still living a life designed by committee instead of conviction. The truth is that your deepest calling will rarely make sense to others. Your most authentic choices will often appear illogical to people who don't share your values, your vision, your internal compass. And that's not a problem, it's a filter. It separates the people who need to understand from the people who need to trust. Consider how much energy you waste trying to make others comfortable with your evolution, softening your ambitions so they don't threaten mediocre friendships, downplaying your growth so others don't feel inadequate, staying small so people around you don't have to confront their own smallness. But that accommodation kills you, slowly, quietly. Every time you shrink yourself to fit someone else's limited understanding of who you should be, you betray the person you're becoming. The Stoics knew that external opinion is outside your control. You cannot manage how others perceive you. You cannot force them to see your perspective. You cannot make them understand motivations they've never felt. And the attempt to do so is wasted energy that could be spent actually living. When you become comfortable being misunderstood, something liberating happens. You stop performing. You stop crafting narratives that make your life palatable to others. You stop seeking permission from people who have no authority over your choices. You just live. Authentically, unapologetically, without the constant need to explain yourself. This doesn't mean becoming arrogant or dismissive. It means developing internal validation. It means building conviction so strong that external confusion can't shake it. It means knowing your reasons even when you can't, or won't, articulate them to others. Think about the pressure of conformity, the subtle and overt messages that your path should look like everyone else's. That deviation requires justification. That uniqueness demands explanation. That different needs defending. But you don't owe anyone an explanation for your life. Not your family, not your friends, not strangers on the internet, not the voices in your head that sound like their judgment. You owe yourself integrity. That's it. Stop explaining yourself. When someone questions your choices, resist the urge to justify. A simple, "This is what's right for me," is complete. You don't need their understanding to proceed. You need your own clarity. Also, audit your relationships. How many people in your life require you to stay small for them to feel comfortable? How many friendships are built on your lack of growth? Those aren't relationships, they're prisons. And you're the only one who can unlock the door. The modern world is built on consensus, on validation through likes and comments and shares, on the illusion that your worth is determined by how many people understand and approve of you. But that's slavery disguised as connection. Real freedom is living according to your own standard while being completely at peace with others not getting it. It's making choices that serve your growth even when they disappoint people. It's prioritizing your evolution over their comfort. Some people will call this selfish. Let them. Their discomfort with your growth is their work to do, not yours. Your job isn't to make your transformation digestible for others. Your job is to transform. You'll lose people in this process. Friends who only knew the old you. Family members who preferred you compliant. Colleagues who benefited from your smallness. Let them go. Not with bitterness, but with understanding that some relationships have expiration dates. And holding on past that date poisons both parties. The people who matter, the ones aligned with your evolution, won't need lengthy explanations. They'll see you moving and trust the direction even when they don't understand the map. They'll support the growth even when it takes you away from them temporarily. Misunderstanding is the price of transformation. Confusion is the cost of evolution. If everyone understands your path, you're probably not pioneering, you're following, and following keeps you safe, but never makes you free. If you're ready to stop explaining yourself, declare this: I need no permission. Number 3, curate your inputs like your life depends on it. Your mind is not a neutral space. It's a battlefield, and every piece of information you consume is either arming you or poisoning you. Every conversation you engage in is either elevating you or degrading you. Every environment you inhabit is either strengthening you or weakening you. And most people treat their inputs like they're harmless. They consume carelessly. They engage indiscriminately. They expose themselves to toxic information and then wonder why their mental state is toxic. Marcus Aurelius understood this principle. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. What are you feeding your soul? What content are you consuming daily? What voices have you given access to your internal world? Because those inputs aren't neutral, they're formative. They're shaping who you're becoming, whether you're conscious of it or not. Think about the last week. How much of what you consumed actually made you better? How much news did you read that you can't do anything about? How many arguments did you witness online that had nothing to do with your life? How much entertainment did you use to numb yourself instead of develop yourself? All of it counts. All of it shapes you. You're not immune to the effects of information just because you think you're consuming it passively. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between just scrolling and deliberate study. It absorbs it all. The modern information environment is designed to hijack your attention and fill your mind with garbage. Outrage porn that spikes your cortisol. Comparison engines disguised as social platforms. Endless streams of content engineered to keep you engaged but never satisfied, and you're swimming in it, voluntarily, multiple hours per day. Then, wondering why, you feel anxious, scattered, inadequate, and overwhelmed. Consider what happens when you start your day by checking your phone. before you've even formed your own thoughts, before you've connected with your own priorities, you're downloading everyone else's agenda into your consciousness. The news wants your attention. Notifications want your reaction. Other people's problems want your energy, and you give it freely. Then spend the rest of the day trying to focus, trying to find clarity, trying to reconnect with what actually matters to you. But you can't, because your mind is already contaminated with noise. The Stoics were ruthless about guarding their minds. They understood that you cannot build wisdom on a foundation of garbage. You cannot develop clarity while consuming chaos. You cannot become strong while feeding yourself weakness. This requires aggressive curation, not moderation, curation. Moderation implies that all content is acceptable in small doses, but some content is poison at any dose. Some conversations degrade you even in limited exposure. Some environments damage you no matter how briefly you visit them. Here's what needs to go: relationships that consistently drain you without reciprocating. Content that makes you feel worse about yourself or the world without providing actionable value. News that you consume compulsively but can't influence. Arguments that don't involve you but activate your stress response anyway. Cut it out, ruthlessly, without guilt. Your mental health isn't a democracy where every input gets a vote. It's a dictatorship where you're the dictator, and your job is to protect the territory. Replace the garbage with signal. Books that challenge you. Conversations that elevate you. Content created by people who are where you want to be or who have values you want to embody. Silence, stillness, space for your own thoughts to emerge. Think about your environment too, the physical spaces you occupy daily. Are they chaotic or ordered, cluttered or clear? Do they inspire focus or encourage distraction? Your environment is input. It's constantly communicating with your nervous system, either supporting your goals or sabotaging them. The practice is simple but not easy. Conduct an input audit. For 1 week, track everything you consume: media, conversations, environments. Then ask, is this making me better or worse? Is this serving my growth or my stagnation? Is this aligned with who I'm becoming or who I was? For everything that doesn't pass that filter, eliminate it. Not reduce it. Eliminate it. Create white space. Guard your attention like the precious resource it is. Because it is. Your attention determines your thoughts. Your thoughts determine your actions. Your actions determine your life. Also, become conscious of the voices you've internalized. The inner dialogue running constantly in your head. Whose voice is that really? Is it yours? Or is it the echo of parents, teachers, critics, society? Most people live with a committee of internalized voices that don't belong to them, following scripts they never chose. Evict them, all of them. Then build a new inner voice, one that's actually yours, one that speaks with your values, your wisdom, your authority. But you can't build that voice while other voices are drowning it out. The modern world wants you confused, overwhelmed, and reactive. It profits from your scattered attention. Your transformation depends on reclaiming that attention and directing it with ruthless precision toward inputs that actually serve you. If you're ready to protect your mind, commit to this. I guard what enters. Number 4. Train yourself to need less. You're drowning in want, endless craving. The next thing, the next level, the next achievement that will finally make you feel complete. And every time you get what you wanted, the satisfaction lasts for days, maybe hours, before the hunger returns, demanding more. This isn't ambition, this is addiction, and it's stealing your peace. Seneca saw this pattern destroy people. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. You're not poor because of what you lack. You're poor because you've trained yourself to need everything. to require specific conditions for contentment, to demand that reality meet your preferences before you allow yourself satisfaction. And reality doesn't care about your demands. It will never perfectly align with your preferences, which means you've built a system where peace is always conditional, always one achievement away, always dependent on circumstances you can't fully control. That's not living, that's hostage negotiation with life, and you're losing. Think about what you've convinced yourself you need, the income level that will finally feel like enough, the body that will make you stop criticizing yourself, the relationship that will fill the emptiness, the recognition that will prove your worth, the lifestyle that will justify your existence. None of it works, because the problem isn't what you have, it's what you think you need to have. And that list of requirements grows faster than your ability to fulfill it. You're running on a treadmill, chasing sufficiency that moves as fast as you do. The Stoics practiced poverty, not because they worshipped suffering, but because they understood that needing less makes you unbreakable. When you can be content with little, you can't be controlled by the threat of losing much. When you don't require luxury to be happy, you're free in a way that wealthy people never are. This isn't about rejecting success or achievement. It's about breaking the psychological dependence on external conditions for internal peace. It's about building a baseline of contentment that exists independent of what you have, what you've accomplished, or what others think of you. Consider the modern definition of success: more money, more status, more possessions, more experiences. All of it external, all of it requiring constant acquisition, all of it training you to need more, which makes you perpetually insufficient. But what if you trained yourself in the opposite direction? What if you deliberately reduced your requirements for contentment? What if you found satisfaction in simplicity, in sufficiency, in having enough rather than having everything? That's not deprivation, that's liberation. When you need less, you work from desire rather than desperation. You make choices from abundance rather than scarcity. You keep your dignity because you're not willing to compromise your values for things you don't actually need. Think about the pressure you feel to maintain a certain lifestyle, the expenses you can't reduce because they're tied to your identity, the status markers you need to preserve your social position. All of it trapping you in jobs you hate, relationships you've outgrown, situations that drain you. But you chose that trap. By deciding that you need these things, by making your contentment dependent on maintaining them, by refusing to explore whether you could be equally or more satisfied with less. For 1 month, experiment with less. Pick one area: spending, consumption, convenience, comfort. Deliberately reduce it, not as punishment, but as training. See what happens when you need less and have less. See if your satisfaction actually drops, or if it stays the same, or even increases. Most people discover something shocking. Less doesn't diminish their happiness, it clarifies it. When you strip away the excess, you discover what actually matters. When you remove the clutter, you find space for what's essential. This applies to everything. Relationships. Do you need constant connection, or can you find peace in solitude? Entertainment. Do you need perpetual stimulation, or can you sit with boredom? Validation. Do you need continuous approval, or can you trust your own judgment? The more you need, the more vulnerable you are. Every need is a potential point of failure, a lever someone can pull, a dependency that can be exploited. When you need less, you have fewer weaknesses. Also, consider your identity needs. The need to be seen as smart, successful, attractive, important. The need for your achievements to be recognized. The need for your struggles to be validated. All of it making you dependent on other people's perceptions for your sense of self. But when you stop needing those external confirmations, when you can hold your own worth internally without requiring constant reinforcement, you become free. Not because you don't care what others think, but because their thoughts don't determine your reality. The modern world trains you to need more. Every advertisement, every social comparison, every lifestyle upgrade. It's all designed to make you feel insufficient, so you'll keep consuming, keep chasing, keep needing. Break the cycle. Not by rejecting everything, but by questioning everything. Does this actually improve my life, or does it just add complexity? Does this serve my growth, or does it serve my ego? Do I need this, or have I just been conditioned to want it? The Stoics knew that freedom lives in simplicity, that power comes from needing little, that the person who requires the least is the most resilient, the most adaptable, the most unbreakable. Train yourself to be that person, not through deprivation, but through conscious reduction. Strip away the excess, release the dependencies, build a life where your contentment comes from within rather than from without. Number 5. Stop treating time like it's unlimited. You act like you have forever. Postponing conversations, delaying action, tolerating situations that drain you, wasting hours on meaningless distraction, all of it built on the unconscious assumption that there will always be more time. There won't be. Every moment that passes is gone permanently. Every day wasted is a day you'll never reclaim. Every year you spend tolerating what you hate is a year stolen from the life you could be living, and you're acting like time is renewable, like you can squander it now and make it up later. Marcus Aurelius faced this reality daily. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think, not someday, right now. This conversation could be your last. This day could be your final one. This year could be all you get, and you're spending it scrolling, complaining, procrastinating, and tolerating mediocrity. Most people live like they're immortal. They make plans for decades away. They postpone important work until conditions improve. They delay difficult conversations until the timing is perfect. They wait to start living until they feel ready. And then they wake up at 50, 60, 70 and realize most of their life is behind them. That the time they were waiting for never came. That the perfect conditions never materialized. That they spent decades preparing to live instead of actually living. Think about the last month. How much time did you waste? How many hours did you give to things that don't matter? How much energy did you spend on problems you can't solve, people who don't deserve it, activities that don't serve you? All of it gone, irretrievable. You traded your life, your actual finite existence, for distraction, for comfort, for the illusion of having time to waste. But you don't have time to waste. Nobody does. Yet people act like time is the one resource that's unlimited. They're careful with money, with possessions, with reputation, but reckless with time, which is the only resource that truly matters. The Stoics understood that time is the ultimate currency. You can't earn more of it. You can't borrow it. You can't buy it back. Once spent, it's gone forever. And most people spend it like they're rich when they're actually bankrupt. Consider what you're tolerating right now. The job that's slowly killing your spirit. The relationship that's been dead for years. The habits that diminish you. The obligations that serve no purpose. All of it consuming your time, your life. And you're allowing it because you think you have time to fix it later. But later is a lie. Later is where dreams go to die. Later is where potential rots. Later is the cemetery where people bury their unlived lives. Here's what happens when you truly internalize your mortality. You stop tolerating garbage. You stop wasting time on people who don't value you. You stop engaging in activities that don't serve your growth. You stop postponing important work because you realize there is no someday, there's only today. This isn't about living recklessly or burning everything down. It's about living deliberately. about treating each day like the gift it is instead of the burden you pretend it to be, about making choices that honor the fact that your time is limited and precious. The practice is daily. Every morning before you check your phone or engage with the world, ask yourself, if this were my last day, what would I prioritize? What conversations would I have? What would I create? Who would I connect with? What would I stop tolerating? Then live that way, not from fear of death, but from respect for life, not from desperation, but from clarity, not because you might die soon, but because you're definitely dying eventually, and you refuse to reach the end with your life still locked inside you. Also, track your time for 1 week. Actually measure where it goes. How much to work, to relationships, to growth, to distraction, to meaningless consumption. Most people are shocked when they see the data. They thought they were investing in what matters, but the numbers reveal they're spending most of their life on nothing. The modern world is engineered to steal your time. Infinite scroll, autoplay, notifications, manufactured urgency, all of it designed to fragment your attention and consume your hours while providing nothing of substance in return. You have to fight for your time, aggressively, ruthlessly, without apology, because nobody else will protect it for you. Your employer will take all you give. Social media will consume every minute you allow. Other people will fill your calendar if you let them. But your time is yours. It's the only thing that's truly yours. And how you spend it determines who you become and what your life means. Stop spending it like you're rich. Start investing it like you're running out, because you are. Every second that passes is one you'll never get back. Every hour wasted is an hour of your life you traded for nothing. If you're done wasting time, declare this now. My time is sacred. Number 6. Build capacity for solitude. You're terrified of being alone with yourself. So you fill every gap with noise, constant connection, perpetual distraction, background sound. Anything to avoid sitting in silence with your own thoughts, your own company, your own reality. And that avoidance is destroying you, because everything you're running from lives in that silence. Every unresolved issue, every uncomfortable truth, every question you've been avoiding, every part of yourself you've been denying. It's all waiting for you in the quiet, and you're too scared to face it. Seneca understood this fear. The primary indication of a well-ordered mind is a man's ability to remain in one place and linger in his own company. Can you do that? Can you sit alone for an hour without reaching for your phone, without turning on music, without seeking external stimulation? Can you be with yourself, just yourself, without discomfort? Most people can't. They've lost the ability to exist without constant input. They need podcasts, music, videos, conversation, anything to avoid the confrontation with their internal world. And in that avoidance, they never develop the depth, clarity, or self-knowledge that only comes from solitude. Think about your daily routine. How much of it is spent alone, in genuine silence? Not just physically alone while scrolling or consuming content, but actually alone, present with yourself, your thoughts, your inner landscape. Probably almost none, because solitude feels uncomfortable. It brings up everything you've been pushing down, the disappointments, the regrets, the questions about whether you're living the life you actually want, the recognition of patterns you need to break, the acknowledgement of truths you've been avoiding. So, you run, you stay busy, you keep yourself occupied, you maintain constant connection with others, so you never have to connect with yourself. And in doing so, you remain a stranger to the person you spend every moment with, you. The Stoics didn't practice solitude to be antisocial. They practiced it to know themselves. to hear their own voice beneath the noise of the world, to develop the internal clarity that's impossible when you're constantly consuming other people's thoughts, opinions, and agendas. When you avoid solitude, you avoid self-knowledge. You never develop your own philosophy because you're always borrowing someone else's. You never discover your own values because you're always adopting the values around you. You never find your own voice because you're always echoing others. Consider how dependent you've become on external validation, on constant feedback, on other people's responses to confirm your existence. That dependency exists because you haven't built a relationship with yourself. You need others to tell you who you are because you've never sat still long enough to find out. But here's what happens when you develop capacity for solitude. You become sovereign. You stop needing constant connection because you're comfortable in your own company. You stop seeking approval because you've built internal validation. You stop being controlled by loneliness because you've learned the difference between being alone and being lonely. Being alone is a state. Being lonely is a judgment about that state. You can be alone and completely content. You can be surrounded by people and deeply lonely. The difference is your relationship with yourself. Most people have a terrible relationship with themselves. They don't like their own company. They find their thoughts boring or disturbing. They would rather be with anyone, even people they don't particularly like, than be alone with themselves. That's a crisis, because you can't escape yourself. You're the one person you'll be with for your entire life. If you can't stand your own company, you're in prison with a cellmate you hate, and there's no parole. Start with 10 minutes, set a timer, sit in silence, no phone, no book, no music, no podcast, just you and your thoughts. Notice what comes up, the discomfort, the urge to reach for distraction, the anxiety, the boredom. Don't fight it, just observe it. Do this daily. Gradually increase the time, 20 minutes, 30, an hour. Build your capacity for solitude the way you'd build any other skill, through consistent practice. Also, take yourself on a solo date. Go somewhere alone, a coffee shop, a museum, a park. Not to work or read or scroll, but simply to be present with yourself in the world. Notice how uncomfortable it feels. Notice the urge to look busy so others don't think you're pathetic for being alone. That discomfort is data. The modern world has pathologized solitude. It's treated as a symptom of social failure, as something to be fixed or avoided. But solitude isn't the problem. The inability to handle it is. The terror of being alone reveals that you've never developed a self-worth being alone with. So develop one. Use solitude to reflect, to process, to integrate your experiences, to hear your own thoughts instead of constantly consuming others, to discover what you actually think, want, believe, not what you've been told to think, want, believe. In solitude, you'll encounter uncomfortable truths about choices you've made, about where you're headed, about gaps between who you are and who you claim to be. Good. Those truths need to be faced. They're not going away just because you're avoiding them through constant distraction. Also recognize, every great thinker, creator, and builder spent significant time alone. Not because they were antisocial, but because depth requires solitude. Creativity requires silence. Self-knowledge requires uninterrupted time with yourself. You can't think deeply while constantly consuming. You can't create meaningfully while perpetually connected. The Stoics built their philosophy in solitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations for himself, in private, processing his thoughts without an audience. That's where wisdom develops, not in the noise of the crowd, but in the quiet of self-examination. Build that capacity, not to become a hermit, but to become whole, to know yourself well enough that you don't need constant external input to know who you are, to be comfortable enough in your own presence that being alone becomes a gift rather than a punishment. Number 7. Accept that some bridges should burn. You've been trying to keep everyone, maintaining relationships that died years ago, preserving connections that no longer serve you, staying loyal to people who aren't loyal to your growth, all because you're terrified of loss, of conflict, of being seen as the bad person who walked away. But some bridges should burn, some relationships need to end, some chapters need to close permanently, and your refusal to accept that is keeping you trapped in a version of your life you've outgrown. Epictetus taught a hard truth. Keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Read that carefully. Not people you've known longest. Not people you share history with. Not people you feel obligated to. People who uplift you. People whose presence makes you better. Everyone else? They're anchors disguised as companions. Think about the relationships you're maintaining out of obligation. The friends you've outgrown but keep because abandoning them feels cruel. The family members whose presence drains you but you tolerate because they're family. The colleagues who undermine you but you engage with because you work together. All of it costing you energy, peace, growth, time. Your unwillingness to let these relationships die is killing parts of you that need to live. Most people operate from a scarcity model of relationships, as if connection is rare and must be preserved at all costs. So they cling to relationships long past their expiration date. They tolerate toxicity because they fear loneliness. They stay in dynamics that diminish them because leaving feels like failure. But maintaining dead relationships isn't loyalty, it's cowardice. It's choosing comfort over truth. It's prioritizing others' feelings over your own evolution. It's sacrificing who you're becoming to preserve who you were. The Stoics understood that not everyone deserves access to you, that your inner circle should be curated ruthlessly, that the people you surround yourself with either elevate you or contaminate you. There's no neutral ground. When you hold on to relationships that no longer serve you, you're not being kind. You're being dishonest. You're pretending. You're performing connection while feeling nothing. And that performance exhausts you while benefiting no one. Consider the relationships where you shrink yourself, where you can't speak freely, where you have to monitor your growth so they don't feel threatened, where your success makes them uncomfortable, where your evolution feels like betrayal to them. Those aren't relationships, those are cages, and you're choosing to stay locked inside because you're more afraid of their reaction to you leaving than you are committed to your own freedom. But here's what happens when you let those bridges burn. Space opens up, energy returns. You stop performing and start living. The people who actually belong in your life become visible because you're not distracted by maintaining relationships with people who don't. Some people are meant for seasons, not lifetimes, and trying to force a seasonal relationship into permanence creates suffering for everyone involved. The friendship that served you in your 20s might be wrong for who you're becoming in your 30s. The family dynamics that worked when you were dependent might be toxic now that you're independent. Letting go isn't betrayal. It's honoring reality. It's accepting that people grow in different directions and that's okay. It's acknowledging that love and compatibility aren't the same thing. You can care about someone and still need them out of your life. Here's the practice. Make a list of every significant relationship in your life. Then honestly assess, does this person support my growth? Do I feel energized or depleted after spending time with them? Can I be authentic, or do I have to perform? Are they celebrating my evolution or resenting it? For every relationship that consistently scores negative, you have a choice. Address it directly or end it cleanly. But don't keep tolerating it while pretending everything's fine. That's the worst option. It prolongs suffering while preventing resolution. Some bridges will burn through honest conversation. You'll tell the truth about what's not working, and they'll reject it, and the relationship will end. Good. Truth should be the filter. People who can't handle your honesty don't deserve your company. Other bridges you'll burn intentionally. You'll make the hard decision to end relationships that have become toxic, even if the other person doesn't understand, even if they make you the villain, even if others judge you for walking away. Let them. Their judgment isn't your burden. Their comfort isn't your responsibility. Your growth is. The modern world preaches unconditional acceptance of all relationships. It makes villains of people who set boundaries, who walk away from toxicity, who prioritize their own well-being over others' feelings. But that's guilt programming designed to keep you small and accessible. Reject it. Some relationships should end. Some people should lose access to you. Some bridges should burn so you can't walk back across them when loneliness or guilt tempts you to retreat. This doesn't mean becoming cruel or callous. It means becoming honest. It means accepting that growth requires loss. That transformation demands you shed relationships that fit the old version of you, but constrict the new one. The Stoics knew that your associations shape your character, that you become like the people you spend time with, that if you surround yourself with mediocrity, you'll become mediocre, that if you tolerate toxicity, you'll internalize it. So burn the bridges that lead to places you don't want to go. Release the relationships that anchor you to versions of yourself you've outgrown. Create space for connections that actually serve your evolution instead of hindering it. You've reached the end, but this is where everything actually begins. These 7 lessons aren't information to store, they're instructions for immediate implementation. Knowledge without action is just mental decoration. Understanding without transformation is just entertainment. 2026 won't reinvent you. These lessons won't magically change your life by existing in your awareness. You have to do the work, daily, without applause, without immediate results, without the comfort of knowing it's working. Stop waiting for readiness. Act now from incompleteness. Become comfortable being misunderstood by people who don't matter. Curate your inputs ruthlessly because your mind is your kingdom. Train yourself to need less so you can't be controlled by more. Stop treating time like it's unlimited and start living like it's scarce. Build capacity for solitude so you actually know yourself. Accept that some bridges should burn because not all relationships deserve to survive your growth. These lessons work together. They're not separate. They're interconnected principles that, when applied consistently, transform you from the inside out. But they require something most people never give: sustained commitment without emotional support. The discipline to continue when motivation fades. The integrity to keep promises to yourself when nobody's watching. The Stoics wrote their philosophy for themselves during the hardest moments of their lives. They weren't performing for an audience, they were surviving reality. That's what these lessons are for: survival. For building yourself into someone who can handle life without breaking. You'll fail at these practices. You'll slip back into old patterns. You'll choose comfort over growth, distraction over presence, performance over authenticity. That's expected. The difference between people who transform and people who stay stuck isn't perfection. It's persistence. It's getting back up. It's recommitting after every failure. Start today. Pick one lesson. Implement it. Not perfectly, but persistently. Then tomorrow, implement it again. And the day after. And the day after. Until it's not something you practice, it's who you are. If this video connected with you, like it now. Share it with someone who's ready to stop making excuses. Comment below with which lesson you're implementing first. Subscribe to this channel because we're not done. We're building a community of people who choose growth over comfort, truth over performance, transformation over stagnation. The question isn't whether you can change. You can. The question is whether you will. Whether you'll do the work when it's uncomfortable. Whether you'll keep going when results feel distant. Whether you'll choose the person you could become over the comfort of who you've been. Make your final commitment. Comment this truth. I become now. Hey, warriors. You've been surviving when you were meant to be thriving. Walking through your days like a warrior who forgot they once knew how to win. Carrying weight that was never yours to carry. Smiling through storms that should have made you scream. And somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that this half-life, this shadow version of who you could be, was all you deserved. It stops now. 2026 isn't just another calendar flip. It's not another empty promise you'll forget by February. This is the year you remember who you are. The year you stop apologizing for taking up space. The year you become stronger, wiser, calmer, not because life suddenly got easier, but because you finally stopped waiting for permission to rise. Strength lives in your bones already. You proved it every time you got back up when staying down would have been easier. Wisdom whispers in your quiet moments. You hear it every time you know the truth, but ignore it to keep the peace. Calmness waits beneath your chaos. You feel it in those rare seconds when you stop fighting yourself and just breathe. The ancient Stoics understood what most people never learn. Marcus Aurelius wrote words that still cut through centuries of noise. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Read that again. You have power over your mind, not your circumstances, not your past, not what other people do or say. Your mind. That's where your power lives. That choice lives in you too. Right now, this moment, you can keep blaming your past, your circumstances, your pain for who you are. Or you can take every scar, every failure, every broken piece and forge something unbreakable. This video isn't theory. It's not motivation that fades when the screen goes dark. Every point ahead is a tool you can pick up today. Real wisdom for your real life with its real problems. No fluff, no empty words. Just truth that cuts through the noise and shows you exactly who you're capable of becoming. But I need something from you first. Hit that like button right now. Drop an affirmation in the comments. Share this with someone who's fighting their own battles. Subscribe to this channel because we're building an army of people who refuse to stay broken. And don't you dare skip ahead. Let's make 2026 the year you stop surviving and start conquering. The year you look in the mirror and recognize the warrior staring back. If you're ready to claim 2026 as yours, type this in the comments. My year begins now. Number 1. Build strength through small, consistent actions. Mountains don't appear overnight. Steel doesn't forge itself in comfort. Warriors aren't born in a single battle. And you won't become unbreakable by waiting for one perfect moment to prove yourself. Strength gets built in the smallest cracks of your ordinary days. In moments so quiet, so unglamorous, that nobody notices but you. Your alarm screams at 5 in the morning, and every part of you wants to surrender to the sheets, but you swing your legs over the side of the bed anyway. That's strength. Someone throws disrespect at your feet and rage boils in your chest, but you choose silence over reaction, dignity over destruction. That's strength. Exhaustion weighs on you like concrete, but someone needs you, so you show up. That's strength. Real strength doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't wait for applause. It just shows up, day after day after day, doing what needs to be done whether anyone's watching or not. Water looks weak, soft, harmless, yet give it enough time and it carves canyons through solid rock. Not through force, through consistency, through showing up every single day and refusing to stop. Most people miss this truth entirely. They're hunting for the dramatic transformation, the overnight success, the one big moment that changes everything. But strength doesn't work that way. Strength is built in repetition, in promises kept to yourself when breaking them would be easier. Epictetus knew this truth when he wrote, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen." Read that slowly. Let it sink in. Your transformation needs time. Your strength needs seasons. Stop rushing what needs to grow. This is what it looks like in your actual life right now. You want physical strength? Stop waiting to feel motivated. Stop designing the perfect workout plan. Drop down and do 10 push-ups today. Tomorrow, do 10 more. Next week, do 15. The number doesn't matter. What matters is keeping your word to yourself. What matters is proving you're the kind of person who does what they say they'll do. You want emotional strength? Set one boundary, just one. Tell someone no when you mean no. Don't explain yourself into the ground. Don't apologize for honoring your own needs. Feel that discomfort rise in your chest. Sit with it. Breathe through it. Do it again next time. That's how emotional muscle gets built. One uncomfortable truth at a time. You want mental strength? Stop poisoning your mind with garbage. Every video you watch, every conversation you participate in, every thought you entertain, it's either building you up or tearing you down. There's no neutral ground. Choose 1 hour this week to feed yourself something real. Read something challenging. Learn something that matters. Think about something deeper than your daily distractions. The world screams at you to make massive changes. Burn everything down. Start over. Transform overnight. But human beings don't work that way. We change through small actions repeated until they become who we are. Today's tiny choice becomes tomorrow's habit. Tomorrow's habit becomes next month's character. Next month's character becomes your destiny. Seneca understood this deeply. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Every day you delay is a day stolen from your future self. Every small action you skip is strength you'll never build. The time is now, not someday. Now. Stop looking down on small beginnings. The person who can control their reaction for 5 seconds is building the capacity to control it for 5 minutes, 5 hours, a lifetime. The person who shows up for themselves once is proving they can show up forever. Your strength isn't measured by what you can carry when everything's perfect. It's measured by what you do when you're shattered, depleted, and everyone would understand if you quit. That's when you discover who you really are. Start right now, not tomorrow, not Monday, not when you feel ready. Do one small thing that makes you proud. Just one. Watch it grow. Write it down below if you commit. Small steps, unstoppable strength. Number 2. Practice wisdom by choosing your battles carefully. Not every fight deserves your energy. Not every argument needs your voice. Not every insult requires your response. Wisdom isn't about winning every battle. It's about knowing which battles are worth fighting in the first place. You've wasted so much power on things that don't matter, proving yourself to people who'll never understand you, defending your worth to those who decided long ago not to see it, arguing with fools who wear their ignorance like armor. And every time you engaged, every time you took the bait, you handed away a piece of yourself you'll never get back. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" Think about that. The damage you do to yourself by staying angry is worse than whatever made you angry in the first place. The stress eating at your peace, the bitterness poisoning your joy, the energy drained from things that actually matter, all because you couldn't let something go. Wisdom means looking at a situation and asking yourself, will this matter in a year? Will engaging with this make my life better or just make me feel temporarily right? Most of the time, the answer cuts through all your justifications. Most of the time, you know you're about to waste yourself on something worthless. Someone cuts you off in traffic and rage floods your system. You could honk, you could chase them down, you could let it ruin your next hour, or you could breathe and remember that their bad driving isn't worth your good mood. That's wisdom, choosing your peace over being right. A co-worker throws shade in a meeting and everyone waits to see if you'll fire back. You could destroy them with words. You could make them look small. You could win the moment and lose respect. Or you could smile and let their pettiness speak for itself. That's wisdom, knowing that silence is sometimes the loudest response. Social media explodes with opinions that make your blood boil. You could type out the perfect argument. You could school everyone who's wrong. You could spend 3 hours in a comment war with strangers you'll never meet. Or you could close the app and invest that energy into something real. That's wisdom, protecting your time like the treasure it is. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your power isn't in controlling what people say or do. Your power is in deciding what gets access to your inner world, what gets to rent space in your head, what's worthy of your emotional investment. This doesn't mean you become passive. It doesn't mean you let people walk over you. It means you save your fire for battles that actually matter, for defending people who can't defend themselves, for standing up for real injustice, for protecting what you truly love, not for every small slight, not for every bruised ego, not for every opinion that contradicts yours. The wise person knows the difference between a threat and an inconvenience, between a real problem and temporary discomfort, between someone who deserves your energy and someone who's just trying to steal it. Start practicing this today. The next time someone tries to pull you into drama, pause. Ask yourself, is this battle mine to fight? If the answer is no, walk away with your peace intact. If the answer is yes, engage with purpose, not emotion. Your energy is finite, your time is limited, your peace is precious. Stop giving these treasures to people and situations that don't deserve them. That's not weakness, that's wisdom, that's strength, that's you finally understanding your own value. Let everyone know your commitment by commenting, "I choose my battles wisely." Number 3. Develop calmness by accepting what you cannot control. Your suffering multiplies when you fight reality, when you argue with what already is, when you demand that the past be different or the present bend to your will. Calmness doesn't come from life finally going your way. It comes from accepting what you cannot change and focusing every ounce of power on what you can. You lie awake replaying conversations from 3 years ago, rewriting history in your mind, tormenting yourself with what you should have said, should have done, should have been, but the past is carved in stone. No amount of mental torture will change a single second of it. Your regret changes nothing except your present moment. It steals your now to mourn a then that's already gone. You stress about tomorrow, next month, next year, building catastrophes in your imagination that haven't happened and probably never will. Anxiety about the future robs you of the only moment you actually have, the only moment you can actually do something with, this one, right here, right now. Marcus Aurelius gave us the key when he wrote, You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone. Read that again. Things you can't control aren't asking for your judgment. They're not requesting your stress. They're not demanding your sleepless nights. Leave them alone. You can't control what other people think about you. You can't control whether they like you, respect you, understand you. You can control how you show up, how you treat people, how you live by your values. That's it. That's your domain. Everything else is outside your kingdom. You can't control the economy. You can't control gas prices. You can't control whether you get that promotion. You can control how hard you work, how much value you create, how prepared you are when opportunity knocks. Focus there. That's where your power lives. You can't control if someone loves you back. You can't control whether they stay or leave. You can't control their feelings, their choices, their journey. You can control how you love, how you show up, how you honor yourself enough to walk away when love isn't returned. That's your responsibility. That's your freedom. Epictetus breaks it down perfectly. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Stop fighting the wind. Stop demanding the rain stop falling. Stop insisting the world operate according to your preferences. Work with what is. Adapt, adjust, flow. Calmness is a superpower in a world losing its mind. While everyone else panics over things they can't change, you stay centered, you stay focused, you stay moving forward. Not because you don't care, but because you're wise enough to know where your energy belongs. When something happens that's outside your control, practice this response. Okay. This is what's happening. What can I do about it right now? If the answer is something, do that thing. If the answer is nothing, let it go and tend to what you can influence. Traffic is jammed and you're going to be late. You can't teleport. You can't make cars disappear. You can call ahead. You can breathe. You can accept that this moment is exactly what it is. That's calmness. That's power. That's you refusing to destroy your peace over circumstances beyond your command. Stop carrying the weight of the uncontrollable. It's crushing you. It's stealing your joy. It's making you miss the beauty of what's right in front of you. Put it down. Focus on your circle of influence. That's where miracles happen. If this truth resonates with you, share it below. Control myself. Free myself. Number 4. Strengthen your mind by embracing discomfort. Comfort is killing you softly. Every time you choose the easy path, the familiar option, the safe choice, you're building a prison disguised as peace. Real strength doesn't grow in your comfort zone. It grows in the fire, in the struggle, in the moments when everything in you screams to quit, but you keep going anyway. You've been running from discomfort your entire life, avoiding hard conversations because they might hurt. Staying in situations that drain you because change feels scary. Scrolling through your phone instead of facing your thoughts. Numbing yourself with distractions because sitting with your feelings is too intense. And every time you run, you teach yourself that you're not strong enough to handle reality. But you are. You're stronger than every excuse you've ever made. Tougher than every fear you've ever felt. More capable than every doubt that whispers in your mind at 3 in the morning. Seneca knew this truth when he wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Your mind is a muscle. It grows under pressure. It expands through challenge. It becomes unbreakable by facing exactly what you're afraid of. Not someday, today. That difficult conversation you keep postponing. Have it. Feel your heart race. Feel your voice shake. Say the truth anyway. That's how you build courage. Not by waiting until you're not scared. By acting while the fear is still screaming. That workout that makes your muscles burn and your lungs beg for mercy. Push through. Feel the pain. Embrace it. Let it remind you that you're building something stronger than yesterday's version of yourself. Discomfort is your body upgrading. Don't interrupt the process. That project that terrifies you because you might fail, start it. Fail if you have to. Let failure teach you what success never could. Every person you admire failed more times than you've even tried. The difference is, they didn't let failure make them a quitter. Your phone buzzes and dopamine floods your system. You reach for it automatically. But stop. Sit with the boredom. Sit with the silence. Sit with your own thoughts for 5 minutes without distraction. That uncomfortable feeling, that's your brain begging for easy stimulation. Train it to be okay with nothing. That's freedom. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle isn't blocking your path. The obstacle is the path. That problem you're avoiding is actually the doorway to your next level. That challenge you're running from is the exact thing you need to face to become who you're meant to be. Stop treating discomfort like the enemy. Discomfort is your trainer, your teacher, your personal development coach that never takes a day off. It shows you exactly where you need to grow, exactly where you're still weak, exactly what you need to work on. Cold showers in the morning, your body hates it, your mind makes excuses, but you step in anyway. You breathe through the shock. You teach yourself that you can handle hard things before breakfast. That's mental toughness. That's you taking control, saying no when people expect yes. Your heart pounds. Guilt tries to drown you, but you hold your boundary. You protect your peace. You prove to yourself that your needs matter too. That's growth. That's strength. That's you finally understanding your worth. The life you want lives on the other side of discomfort. The person you're meant to be is waiting for you to stop choosing easy, stop choosing comfortable, stop choosing safe. Choose hard. Choose growth. Choose the version of yourself that looks fear in the eye and moves forward anyway. Discomfort is temporary. Regret is forever. Choose wisely. Tell the world you're ready to grow by typing, "I embrace the fire." Number 5. Build wisdom by learning from every experience. Nothing is wasted if you learn from it. Not your failures, not your heartbreaks, not your mistakes. Every experience you've lived through is either a lesson learned or a lesson you'll repeat until it finally breaks you. The wise person doesn't avoid failure. They extract wisdom from it like gold from rock. You fell. You failed. You trusted the wrong person. You made the wrong choice. You lost time, money, energy on something that didn't work out. And now you're sitting in the aftermath, replaying it all, drowning in regret. But here's the truth that will set you free. That failure wasn't a waste unless you walk away without learning what it came to teach you. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Every situation, every setback, every disappointment is neutral until you decide what it means. You can label it as proof that you're a failure, or you can mine it for wisdom and become stronger because of it. That relationship that ended, it didn't fail. It taught you what you will and won't accept. It showed you what real love looks like by showing you what it doesn't. It revealed parts of yourself you didn't know existed. Those lessons are priceless if you're willing to receive them. That business that crashed, it didn't destroy you. It educated you. It showed you what works and what doesn't. It revealed your blind spots. It forced you to develop skills you wouldn't have learned any other way. That's not failure. That's expensive education that most people aren't brave enough to pay for. That friendship that betrayed you, it didn't break you. It taught you to trust your instincts. It showed you that not everyone deserves access to your inner circle. It made you stronger, wiser, more careful about who gets close. That pain purchased wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The cucumber is bitter, then throw it out." There are brambles in the path, then go around. That's all you need to know. Simple, direct, wise. Learn what doesn't work and adjust. Don't keep eating bitter cucumbers while complaining they're not sweet. Learn and move on. Most people repeat the same mistakes over and over because they never stop to ask, what is this teaching me? They blame circumstances. They blame other people. They blame bad luck. But they never look in the mirror and ask, what could I do differently next time? Start keeping a wisdom journal. Every time something goes wrong, write down 3 things. What happened? What I learned? What I'll do differently next time? This simple practice transforms you from a victim of life into a student of life. Everything becomes useful. Everything becomes fuel for growth. That argument with your partner? What did it reveal about your communication style? About your triggers? About what you need to work on? Extract the lesson. Apply it. Become better. That missed opportunity. What does it teach you about preparation? About timing? About recognizing chances when they appear? Learn it. Embody it. Be ready next time. That health scare. What is your body trying to tell you? About stress, about lifestyle, about priorities. Listen to it. Honor it. Adjust accordingly. Wisdom isn't about knowing everything from the start. Wisdom is about paying attention, about learning, about evolving, about refusing to make the same mistake twice, about becoming the kind of person who grows stronger, smarter, deeper with every experience. Your past doesn't define you, but what you learned from your past absolutely shapes your future. Stop running from your experiences. Stop hiding from your mistakes. Face them, learn from them. Let them forge you into someone wiser, stronger, better. Every scar tells a story. Make sure yours tell a story of growth. Share your commitment to growth below. Every lesson makes me wiser. Number 6. Build strength by mastering your responses. Nobody can make you angry. Nobody can steal your peace. Nobody can force you to react. They can say words. They can do things. They can create situations. But your response? That's yours. That's your power. That's the one thing in this chaotic world that belongs completely to you. You've been giving that power away for free. Someone says something disrespectful and you explode. Someone cuts you off in traffic and your entire morning is ruined. Someone posts something online and you spend 2 hours furious about it. Every time you react without thinking, you hand over your remote control. You let external circumstances dictate your internal state. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Read that slowly. The pain isn't in what happened. The pain is in what you're telling yourself about what happened, and you can change that story right now. Someone insults you at work. You can tell yourself, "This is a disaster. Everyone will think less of me. I need to defend myself immediately." Feel your body tense. Feel the anger rise. Feel your peace shatter. Or you can tell yourself, "This person is struggling with something. Their words say more about them than about me. I don't need to participate in their drama." Feel the calm. Feel the power. Feel yourself staying intact. The situation is the same. Your response changes everything. This isn't about suppressing your emotions. This isn't about pretending you don't feel hurt or angry or frustrated. Feel it all, but don't let those feelings hijack your behavior. There's a space between what happens and how you respond. In that space lives your freedom, your power, your chance to be different than you've always been. Epictetus taught his students, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." That drunk driver who hit your car didn't ask for your permission. That economy that crashed didn't consult you. That person who broke your heart didn't care about your plans. External circumstances do whatever they want. But your response? That's your kingdom. Rule it. Practice the pause. Something triggers you. Before you speak, count to 3. Before you text back in anger, wait 5 minutes. Before you make that decision from emotion, take 3 deep breaths. In that tiny pause, you reclaim your power. You remember who you are. You choose the response that serves you instead of the reaction that owns you. Your co-worker takes credit for your work. Pause. Do you scream? Do you plot revenge? Or do you calmly document what happened and address it professionally? The person who pauses wins. Your partner says something that cuts deep. Pause. Do you say something equally hurtful? Do you shut down completely? Or do you express how you feel without attacking them back? The person who pauses saves the relationship. Bad news arrives and panic floods your system. Pause. Do you spiral into worst-case scenarios? Do you freeze and do nothing? Or do you assess the situation clearly and take the next logical step? The person who pauses finds the solution. Seneca reminds us, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Every trigger is training. Every difficult person is your personal trainer for patience. Every frustrating situation is a gym for your self-control. Stop avoiding the friction. It's polishing you into something unbreakable. Mastering your responses doesn't make you weak. It makes you powerful. It means you're no longer a puppet controlled by circumstances and other people's behavior. You're the master of yourself, and that makes you unstoppable. Declare your power in the comments. I control my reactions. Number 7. Cultivate calmness through daily reflection. You're living your life on autopilot, racing from one thing to the next, never stopping, never thinking, never asking yourself if you're actually going where you want to go. And at the end of each day, you collapse exhausted, wondering why you feel so empty despite being so busy. Calmness doesn't come from doing less. It comes from being intentional about what you're doing, from checking in with yourself, from making sure your actions align with your values, from reflecting on who you're becoming instead of just reacting to what's happening. The ancient Stoics didn't just think about philosophy. They practiced it daily through reflection. They examined their actions. They questioned their choices. They held themselves accountable to the person they wanted to be. This wasn't optional for them. It was essential. Marcus Aurelius, despite ruling an empire, took time every evening to write in his journal, to examine his day, to ask himself hard questions. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." He started his days with gratitude, with intention, with awareness. That practice kept him grounded when everything around him was chaos. You need this practice too, not because you're an emperor, but because you're human. Because without reflection, you repeat the same mistakes. You stay stuck in the same patterns. You become a stranger to yourself. Create a simple daily practice. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. That's all you need to change everything. Morning reflection. Ask yourself 3 questions. What kind of person do I want to be today? What challenges might I face? How will I respond with integrity? You're not predicting the future. You're preparing your mind. You're setting your intention. You're reminding yourself who you are before the world tells you who to be. Evening reflection. Ask yourself 3 different questions. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short? What will I do differently tomorrow? This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about honest assessment, about learning, about making tomorrow better than today. Seneca practiced this every night. He wrote, "I will keep constant watch over myself, and most usefully, will put each day up for review. For this is what makes us evil, that none of us looks back upon our own lives. We reflect upon only that which we are about to do, and yet our plans for the future descend from the past. Your patterns live in your past. Your triggers live in your past. Your automatic reactions live in your past. If you never examine them, you'll keep repeating them forever. Reflection breaks the cycle. It shines light on what's been hiding in darkness. It gives you the power to choose differently. Write it down. Don't just think about it. Something magical happens when pen hits paper. Your thoughts become clearer. Your patterns become obvious. Your growth becomes measurable. You can look back at last month's reflections and see how far you've come, or see that you're still stuck in the same place and need to change something. This practice creates calmness because it takes the chaos of your day and makes sense of it. It transforms random events into lessons. It turns experiences into wisdom. It helps you see that you're not just surviving, you're evolving, you're becoming, you're growing into the person you're meant to be. 10 minutes a day. That's less time than you spend scrolling social media, less time than you spend complaining about your life, less time than you spend worrying about things you can't control. But those 10 minutes will give you back yourself. They'll give you clarity. They'll give you calmness in a world designed to keep you anxious. Start tonight. Reflect on today. Learn from it. Wake up tomorrow more intentional because of it. Let us know you're starting this practice. I reflect. I grow. Number 8. Develop wisdom by surrounding yourself with truth. You become the average of the voices you listen to, the people you spend time with, the content you consume, the conversations you participate in. Everything you allow into your mind is either building you up or tearing you down. There is no neutral ground. Choose carefully. Choose wisely. Choose like your future depends on it, because it does. Look around at your circle right now. Really look. Are these people pushing you toward greatness or pulling you toward mediocrity? Are they celebrating your growth or secretly hoping you stay small so they don't feel bad about themselves? Are they speaking truth to you or telling you comfortable lies because they're too weak to handle your reaction? The truth hurts sometimes, but lies destroy always. You need people in your life brave enough to tell you when you're wrong, when you're making excuses, when you're settling, when you're betraying the person you said you wanted to become. Those people are rare. Those people are treasures. Hold on to them like your life depends on it. Epictetus taught, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Not people who enable your worst habits, not people who encourage your excuses, not people who make you feel better about staying stuck. People who challenge you, who inspire you, who refuse to let you hide from your potential. Cut the dead weight. That friend who only calls when they need something but disappears when you're struggling. Let them go. That person who constantly gossips and drags everyone down with negativity. Distance yourself. That relationship that drains more energy than it gives. Walk away. You're not being mean. You're being wise. You're protecting your peace. You're honoring your growth. This extends beyond just people. What are you feeding your mind every day? What podcasts are you listening to? What shows are you watching? What books are you reading? What social media accounts are you following? All of it matters. All of it shapes you whether you realize it or not. Marcus Aurelius warns, "Be careful to leave your sons well instructed rather than rich, for the hopes of the instructed are better than the wealth of the ignorant." Wisdom is the real inheritance. Knowledge is the real wealth. Truth is the real treasure. Stop filling your mind with garbage and wondering why your life feels empty. Replace the noise with wisdom. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate. Stop watching content that numbs you instead of growing you. Start reading books that challenge your thinking. Listen to voices that make you uncomfortable because they're pushing you to evolve. Seek out mentors who've been where you want to go. You don't need 1 million followers. You need a few wise voices. You don't need to be popular. You need to be surrounded by truth. You don't need everyone to like you. You need people who love you enough to be honest with you. Find your people. The ones who see your potential even when you can't. The ones who call you out when you're making excuses. The ones who celebrate your wins without jealousy and support you through losses without judgment. The ones who push you to be better while accepting exactly who you are right now. And be that person for someone else. Be the voice of truth in someone's life who only hears lies. Be the friend who challenges instead of enables. Be the presence that calls forth the best in others. You can't control who shows up for you, but you can control who you show up as. Your environment shapes you. Your company molds you. Your influences define you. Stop leaving this to chance. Stop accepting whoever happens to be around. Curate your circle like a museum curator selects art, with intention, with standards, with vision for what you're building. Surround yourself with truth and watch yourself become unstoppable. Commit to better company by writing, "Truth shapes my circle." Number 9. Build unshakable strength by serving something bigger than yourself. You're drowning in your own problems because you've made yourself the center of your universe. Every thought circles back to you. Every concern is about your pain, your struggle, your disappointment. And the more you focus inward, the heavier everything becomes. The weight of self-obsession is crushing you, and you don't even realize it. Here's the paradox that will save you. The fastest way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to something greater. The moment you shift your focus from what you're getting to what you're giving, everything changes. Your problems don't disappear. They just stop controlling you. They lose their power because you've found something more important to fight for. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity." Your life isn't just about you. Your choices ripple outward. Your actions impact others. Your legacy is being written right now in how you show up when nobody's watching. When you understand that truth, when you really feel it, complaining about minor inconveniences becomes absurd. You want unshakable strength. Stop building it for yourself. Build it for the people who depend on you, for the community that needs you, for the cause that's bigger than your comfort. When you're fighting for something that matters beyond your own survival, you discover reserves of strength you didn't know existed. Your kids are watching you, not just what you say, but who you are when life gets hard. Do they see someone who crumbles under pressure or someone who stands firm? Do they learn that obstacles are excuses to quit or opportunities to grow? You're not just living your life, you're teaching them how to live theirs. That responsibility should terrify you. It should also inspire you to be better than you've ever been. Your co-workers, your friends, your neighbors, they're all fighting battles you know nothing about. And sometimes your strength gives them permission to find their own. Your refusal to quit inspires someone else to keep going. Your commitment to growth challenges someone else to stop settling. You have no idea whose life you're changing just by choosing to show up with integrity. Seneca reminds us, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Stop walking through life like everyone else is an obstacle to your happiness. They're opportunities, opportunities to give, to serve, to lift, to love, to make someone's heavy day a little lighter. Find your cause. What breaks your heart? What injustice makes your blood boil? What problem in your community keeps you up at night? Pour yourself into that. Not because you'll definitely fix it, but because trying to fix it makes you into someone worth becoming. Volunteer. Mentor someone younger who's struggling with what you've already overcome. Help an elderly neighbor with their groceries. Support a friend through their crisis, even when you're dealing with your own. Show up for people who can't repay you. That's where real strength lives. In selfless action, in purposeful service, in love that costs you something. When you serve something bigger than yourself, your personal problems don't vanish, but they lose their ability to destroy you. You can't spiral into self-pity when you're busy helping someone else. You can't wallow in your own pain when you're showing up to ease someone else's. Service is the antidote to despair. Purpose is the cure for emptiness. Your life has meaning, not because of what you achieve, not because of what you accumulate, but because of who you become and how many lives you touch along the way. That legacy, that impact, that's what echoes in eternity. That's what makes the struggle worth it. That's what builds strength that nothing can shake. Stop living small. Stop thinking small. Stop making everything about you. There's a world out there that needs what you have to give. Give it freely. Give it fully. Give it now. Declare your purpose in the comments. I serve something greater. You made it here. Through every word, every truth, every challenge. That alone tells me something about you. You're not looking for shortcuts. You're not searching for easy answers. You're ready to do the work that most people will spend their entire lives avoiding. 2026 is waiting for you. Not with guarantees, not with promises that everything will be perfect, but with opportunity. The opportunity to become stronger than your excuses, wiser than your mistakes, calmer than your chaos. Every point we covered today is a tool. Small, consistent actions build unshakable strength. Choosing your battles carefully protects your energy. Accepting what you can't control brings you peace. Embracing discomfort makes you unstoppable. Learning from every experience gives you wisdom. Mastering your responses gives you power. Daily reflection keeps you grounded. Surrounding yourself with truth elevates you. Serving something greater fulfills you. These aren't theories to think about. These are practices to live. Starting today, starting now, starting with one small choice that proves to yourself you're serious this time. Marcus Aurelius left us with this. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Stop planning to change. Stop talking about growth. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Be the change right now. Be the growth right now. Be the person you've been planning to become. This community is here for you. We're all fighting our own battles. We're all becoming stronger together. So hit that like button if this spoke to your soul. Drop your commitment in the comments. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel because we're just getting started. 2026 is your year. Not because it will be easy, but because you're finally ready to do what's necessary. Now go prove it.